You passed on an insult to Athena about her sister, so there seems to be a sensitivity chip missing. Why have you not pursued?
Jamie's sort of taken charge since the start of this relationship, and maybe I've slipped into a pattern.
Don't believe he has those romantic feelings for me.
Am I the only one who thinks that there's some level of favoritism in how people are treated by the experts? Because it seems certain people are being held to account and certain people are allowed to sort of get away with whatever they want to get away with. I don't get how the Paul and Karina situation is turned into someone being a victim and someone being a villain. That still is confusing to me. And Jamie and Dave, I want to know what else was left on the cutting room floor, because I have a feeling we're only finding out a third of exactly what their storyline is, a third of what's actually happening between the two of them, because nothing that is being said or nothing that is being done makes any sense to anyone. It would be one thing if Dave was saying, he's got a stronger connection with Veronica, but this is not making any sense. It really is confusing and it really is sort of frustrating at the same time. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 12, Episode 29. So it's commitment ceremony number 5, if I'm not mistaken. You have Jeff and Ree. Jeff and Ree are the happiest couple in the experiment. They've been consistent with one another. Whether there's been drama, they must have they must have kept it behind closed doors, because we haven't really seen anything, and they're so puzzled to find out that everybody else is struggling and they can't quite understand it. Everybody is sort of worried about Jamie and Dave. Nobody can understand what is going on with the two of them, and everybody's sort of questioning what happened there. You have Karina and Paul. Somebody needs to explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, because I don't quite get it. Because we've gone from Paul exposing something terrible Karina said behind closed doors to suddenly Karina is playing victim and she doesn't trust this man because he threw her under the bus. If you hadn't said something terrible, nobody would have thrown you under the bus. You called everybody mean girls because you felt they said something terrible to Lauren, but suddenly you have done the same and you are now the victim. How is it? I don't quite get it. Paul is a villain on his own, but she is just as bad as he is. Because if you're going to be so intimidated by somebody sharing a space with your partner and you're going to call them out and saying they're of a lesser caliber than you, take ownership of it. Whether or not Athena accepted the apology doesn't matter. At the end of the day, she said it. She said it. I have a feeling Karina's goal was to come on the show and be the darling sweetheart of the show and live as the darling sweetheart with endorsement deals and whatever else. And now that Paul has outed her, that actually she's just as bad as Lauren, she's now trying to save herself by playing the victim card. You have Elliot. Elliot has managed to get a transformation that we all never saw coming, because when he was married to Lauren and he left Lauren, everybody treated him like the villain because they couldn't understand why he did that. And then he came back and he got married to somebody else, and now she is turning out to be the villain and he is now turning out to be the victim. And it's like, what happened? What did we miss? I'm still confused as to what happened with Veronica. I think Veronica came in, was excited to see Elliot, but expected him to be a pushover. And when she heard everything that had happened with Lauren, she then created her own perception of Elliot and wouldn't move or budge from that. And now that she's realized that he's actually not bad, she can't take back whatever she's done. So she's standing in her victory or in her villain era. Maybe she's looking to be a villain on TV as an actress or whatever. We'll just have to wait and see. And then we have Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave are devastating for me. They are devastating because I think Jamie has come into this process. Initially, we thought she was just going to be loud and dramatic, but she's actually come in and looked for, the qualities that she wants in a partner. And Dave has presented that to her, and she has allowed her heart to open up to this man and has fallen in love with this man, only for this man to turn around and actually say, well, I'm not where you are. And this is devastating because it's been 4 or 5 weeks of them living peacefully, and so for him to suddenly turn around and say I'm not there doesn't make sense. I don't even get why he needed to come and have a conversation with her, because before the dinner party he said to her, do you want us to talk about it now? Because I think he didn't want to be outed in front of everyone. And then when he got in front of everyone, he said he wanted to fight for his his relationship. With Jamie, he's sort of now trying to play a victim. He's saying, you know, the things that you said to me, the things that you did to me really hurt my feelings. Yes, she can apologize for what she did or said, but what are you going to do for everything you've done since then, since you've decided, you know, that Jamie might not be it for you, that you deserve better, you are in a better position than Jamie? I feel like, I know people were saying that I was suspecting that something happened with Veronica. What do I think about David's sudden turnaround? I don't think anything happened physically with Veronica. I have a feeling, because Jamie at the dinner table, when Veronica tried to sort of interfere, Jamie outed Veronica for speaking with Lauren. And I have a feeling Veronica was holding on to that. And when she got to spend time with Dave, she decided to reveal a secret that Jamie must have confided in her. And this is why this man must have got the egg, or this is why this man has suddenly changed his tune, because his sudden turnaround doesn't make sense. His sudden change and sort of standoffishness doesn't make sense. We can't say it's because he's grieving. He already knew his dad was terminally ill when he entered this process, so he could have been standoffish from the start. I have a feeling something was said by Veronica that's changed his opinion about his wife and his relationship, because there's nothing else. Because it's not like he was happy around Veronica, but he seemed more cordial than anything. It's not like he was saying he's physically attracted to her. I might be wrong. It might turn out that they had an affair or they did something, but that's the impression that I get, that with Veronica, I don't think it was about physical intimacy, whether it was cuddling, kissing, whatever. I think there were words that she said that made him feel some type of way, and this is why he's now standoffish towards Jamie. So everybody arrives for the commitment ceremony. Everybody's excited, they're giddy, they're happy. Well, but the couples with the tension, you can actually see it. I wish they would just let the wife sit on one side and the husband sit on one side, but no, they can't do that. They have to have everyone sit together, because it's oaks galore, especially when you look at Jamie and Dave. Jamie doesn't want to be sitting there. Neither does Elliot and Veronica want to be sitting next to one another. They're sitting as far apart as they possibly can. And it's like, oh my God, this is a hot mess. Anyway, first up is Afina and Adrian. Never would I have dreamt that Afina and Adrian would be the piece that we needed, because I think Adrian was too busy outing Dave for him to be messy in his own relationship. And because they aligned on the fact that they realized that, oh, well, the couples that seemed to be perfect are not as perfect. There's the issue with, Paul and Karina, and then there's Jamie and Dave. So they seem to have been more focused on building each other. Apparently, they've had an amazing week. They've really been very curious. They worked very hard on their letter. I think it was good for Jamie to be coupled up with Adrian, not just because they get along, but also because she's close friends with Afina. And so I think she was able to sort of help him with his letter writing, helping him sort of open up. So this helped them quite a lot. They are doing couples activities to try and strengthen their bond. They both seem very happy. Am I surprised they both chose to say no? Adrian wants the clout. He's already thrown a fit because he wasn't included in something. So I don't think there was any chance of him going home. I think he's going to try and be on his best behavior for as long as possible until after final vows. Next up was Elliot and Veronica. I loved this. I really did. I loved how very, very quiet and very measured Elliot was, and how calm he was, because he's always been that, even when he's throwing a fit. So to see him sort of sit there and watch Veronica self-destruct was amazing to watch. It was amazing to watch, because Veronica went into a story, oh, he's always demeaning, he's always patronizing, he's always saying these things to me that make me feel less than. And it's like, madam, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. For her to say it's recorded on camera, and it's like, yeah, but production haven't shown it to us. The picture that they've painted of you is not the best. And so for the experts to sort of open it up to the floor, because Elliot was saying the problem we have is I say one thing, you say another thing, and majority of the time, everybody agrees with me, which tells me that you are at fault, because they get to get the whole picture. And so I don't get why you are saying I'm the one at fault, when everybody, when they look at our story, or when they hear or we express ourselves to them, they always side with me. So at this point, John opened it to the floor to say, everybody, do you want to speak up? That was Veronica's downfall, because you had Adrian open up and sort of say to her, we have spent time with you and you haven't been the best of people. So the idea that you're saying that Elliot is making you feel less than doesn't make sense. One thing I love about this group is they've always, spoken the truth as it stands. They've always backed anyone who they felt was the underdog in any situation. When they felt Elliot was the villain, they went after Elliot. Now they're actually exposing Veronica. And so then it turned to Rhea. Rhea is non-confrontational. That's her problem, because she said, I am friends with Veronica, and it's like, Rhea, you're friends with everybody in the experiment. Just say that I'm friends with Veronica, but during my time with Elliot, he brought me fruits because he knows I'm very fit. I'm into fitness and healthy eating. He taught me how to play a card game, even though I struggled with it. We did ABC. And then for Veronica to turn around and say, well, he has never taught me the card. I didn't know he was into games. And everybody to start calling out, oh, well, at the couples retreat, he played this game, this game, this game, this game. Oh, but he has never taught me. And it's like, madam, you're looking for an excuse and you're thinking, just sit there quietly and just wait for the decision. There's no point in you speaking up, because every time you're speaking up, everybody is turning it back on you. And so I don't think this is helping your situation. I think this is actually making you look worse, unless this was what your edit was about. They both chose to leave. Am I surprised? No. One thing about Elliot is he's a good reader. He's a good people reader. He read Lauren before everybody else read her, and we all thought he was the villain, and we sort of called him out and said everything nasty about him, only for Lauren to come back and show herself out. Not that he's an angel, but he has his faults. But he the same thing happened with Veronica. He read her, realized she doesn't like me, packed his bags, and he said, I'm out. And Veronica, I think she expected him to say, let's stay. But he actually said, I'm done. I'm going. I've learned what I needed to learn. I'm out. And now she has to go out into the world and explain herself and explain why she behaved or said the things that she said. Because at the end of the day, her edit is not the best. Her edit is not the best. She might as well have stayed at home. She was trying to say, oh, I'm blunt. It's not about being blunt. You can be honest without being disrespectful. The problem is she was disrespectful. Next up was Jackie and Ryan. Jackie and Ryan are always confused.com. They're always confusing because you never know what they're going to say and what they're going to do. So everyone was sat up because they knew it was going to be good. They spoke about the letter that they wrote during couple swap. And Ryan felt some type of way because you've had Jeff countless times bring up this letter. So the letter must really have been terrible, because Jeff has always said, I'm surprised they're still together given what she wrote in her letter. There was no way they were going to work with Jackie. I think they're two totally different people living on two totally different parallel universes, in the sense that Jackie has these ideas of a relationship, ideas of what a marriage should be, that she's read about, that she's heard about, and sadly they're unrealistic, and the person she's with is struggling to sort of make it make sense, because yes, there were things that she knows that Ryan is up to par with. There are things she knows Ryan will never put up with, and she even said this in her TikTok, that some of the things she wrote in her letter was sort of to sort of instigate a response from Ryan. She was trying to see if he would react to it, and so she knows he doesn't see himself as a stay-at-home parent. The idea that Jackie expects Ryan to suddenly change and be the man that she's read about is being unrealistic. Yes, you want to be aligned with your partner. Yes, there are things that you hold as value that are priority in your relationship. And so it's up to Jackie to decide, is it worth sacrificing certain things that she wants from her partner and staying in this marriage, or is it not? She said there were deal breakers, and I'm surprised that she chose to write stay, because how are you choosing to say stay when you know that you're never going to get what you want from this man? This is a teachable moment for Ryan, and I hope he takes it on board, and I hope he uses it wisely, because the information he's obtaining, the skills and the knowledge that he's gaining from being in this experiment will allow him to be the best version of himself for his future partner. Yes, his outlook on life is you're always learning, you're always growing. And I hope he uses this experience for that. They both chose to stay. Am I surprised they stayed? No, they were always going to stay anyway. Oh, next on the couch is Beth and TJ. Beth reveals that, in her letter, she spoke about the fact that she's not sure whether he's attracted to her or, well, he likes her, but she's worried that he might not be attracted to her. I love that he was able to reassure her and tell her that he is attracted to her. We all know that this is Beth's first relationship. She hasn't been in a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. And so I don't know whether that's the reason why she's over-analyzing this relationship or whether she has a lot of insecurities because of her lack of experience. This is my thing. I think girls need to stop putting emphasis on how a guy makes them feel and feel how they feel themselves without the guy's reassurance or affirmation to say, oh, you're an amazing girl, I really like you, I see a future with you. Because most of the girls that are struggling in their relationships is because the guys are not telling them what they want to hear. And what if he doesn't tell you what you want to hear? Are you going to leave the relationship? Are you going to stay in the relationship? Is something that I need to understand with Beth, because apparently it seems they had sex only once, which could have been on wedding day, and they haven't had sex since then. And so my thing is, I always say this about couples and marriage at first sight, people need to stop rushing into sex when they're on the show, because you are marrying a stranger, somebody you don't know. Get to know the person first before you become physically intimate and you tie your souls with them, because a lot of people believe that, once you have sex with someone, you're already tying your soul to them, and even if you move on, you've already got a piece of them in you. And so I think girls need to learn to put a lot of value on themselves without a guy sort of reassuring you or giving you this sense that you are worthy to be loved, you are worthy to have a partner. And so until people can learn that, they will struggle in relationships. This is why Jamie and Dave are struggling. This is why you have Beth and TJ struggling as well, because somebody wants to be reassured that you're the most attractive person. I find you attractive. I want this thing to grow. TJ on his part says, he really likes her, but he wants to make sure that they are emotionally there before they become physically intimate. He doesn't want to just go into relationships, sleeping with girls and moving on to the next one. I hope she takes it on board, and I hope on her part, Beth is able to do the work on herself and reassure herself that she doesn't need this man fawning at her or falling at her feet and proclaiming his undying love for her. But she is worthy to find someone. If he is not the one, then she will find somebody else, and she doesn't need to think less than of herself. They both choose to stay. Am I surprised? No. They were both always going to say stay anyway, so this is nothing new. Next up, we have Ree and Jeff. Ree and Jeff have been very steady since the moment they saw each other at the altar. Even after they got married, it wasn't sort of the Karina situation where Karina was saying, okay, are you swapping him out for somebody else? No, they got married. They knew each other already, so they decided to continue with this thing. And I have a feeling that had Ree been with anybody else, no matter how nice they are, she would have struggled. I think it's better she's with this guy who is very steady, who is very caring, understanding, compassionate, empathetic. You had Ryan already say, he's learned to make Jackie eggs because he heard that this is what Jeff was doing for her. And I love that they're valuing their relationship. I love that they've recognized during their time apart that they actually make a great team and that there is something there that they can continue to grow. And being in the experiment helps people realize that actually my situation is not as bad as I thought it was. It gives you the skills, the tools that you need. You had, Ree talk about her time with Elliot and how she really missed Jeff. Jeff talked about his time with Jackie and how much he really missed, Ree. I think they're both very steady. Ree is non-confrontational, and because Jeff is so quiet and so laid back, it allows her to be herself, because ever since the couples retreat, you can actually see how nervous she is. You can actually see how anxious she is in certain situations. So I'm happy that they're doing great and that they've chosen to continue in the marriage. Next up is Paul and Karina. And I'm side-eyeing the experts. I really am. Because at the end of the day, it seems like Karina is the teacher's pet. That's what I'm going to say. She is the teacher's pet. Because they talk about the honesty letter and the things that Paul wrote in the letter. Paul is called out for revealing a secret that was said in private, and apparently he didn't take into consideration his wife's feelings and Afina's feelings. What people forget is he could have a friendship with Afina on the outside, and maybe this is why he felt comfortable telling Afina, because if he was being spiteful, he would have kept it until the dinner party and said it in front of everybody else. But he went and he told the person it was targeted to that this is what has been said about your sister and I don't like it. And there must be a reason why he said it. And we won't ever find out unless he does an interview. Because At the end of the day, we also Karina crying before she had to do the partner swap because she said her religion didn't allow her to sort of swap husbands with other people, and she wasn't expected to spend time with somebody else's husband. And yet she's been okay to sleep with a rapper and brag about it on this show. Or not on the show, but she's comfortable sleeping with a rapper, bragging about it to people in an Uber, but she's not comfortable with her husband spending time with somebody else. I don't get how we've gone from Karina saying something vindictive and malicious to suddenly being the victim. I don't get it, and I don't understand. Is it because it's being edited out, or is it because the experts have a blind spot when it comes to Karina? Why are we always favoring her? If we dragged Jamie last week for her behavior towards Lauren, and we dragged Lauren last week for her behavior towards the girls, why is it Karina is not asked, why did you say that? Karina didn't expect that to be played out in front of everyone. She didn't expect the experts to ask Paul to regurgitate everything that was in his letter, because you could see everybody else's faces, and then for her to say, oh, I felt like it was a punch in the chest. Jeff, you could see him looking around, because that was code word for her trying to sort of bring it back to, the time Paul punched the door or the wall or whatever. Paul is wrong for punching the wall. Paul is wrong for revealing a secret. But where is Karina's accountability? This has been my issue from day one, that where is her accountability? Why is she allowed to say horrible things about people? Call people mean girls because they reacted to somebody saying something mean about them. And then she sits there and goes, oh, Afina was very nice about it. She accepted my apology. Everybody else now knows that this is who you are. And I hope they accept you for who you are and they treat you for the way that you are treating them. I can only imagine if this is what she said about Afina's sister, what did she say about everybody else? What has she said about everybody else that Paul has kept secret? What has she said? I want Paul to open up and tell us single thing that she said, because this can't be the only unsavory thing that Karina said. I have a feeling she said a lot of unsavory things about the other wives, especially after the Lauren situation. Even the night after the Jamie situation, I have a feeling she said unsavory things about Jamie. I wouldn't be surprised if she did, because if she can say this about somebody and lie that it was jealousy or insecurity do not equate hatred and mean-spiritedness. No, that's not it. And I'm not buying this excuse. I don't get it. Oh my God, I'm rambling. Anyway, they both choose to stay. Am I surprised? No. I'm disappointed in Alexandra because I wish she was impartial. It seems she is Karina's champion in this experiment. She's Karina's warrior. And I think she needs to step down from being Karina's warrior and allow Karina to take accountability, because this is not helping her in any situation. This now lives out there. The fact that you're saying, oh, you should have kept it a secret because your partner needs to confide in you. No. My partner can't expect a secret when she's saying malicious and vindictive things. I'm not going to keep that secret. I'm going to expose it. Lastly is Dave and Jamie. Dave and Jamie for me are frustrating. They're heartbreaking. They're devastating, because I never saw this coming. I don't think anyone ever saw this coming, because we all had an idea that, they were happy. They were one of the most steadiest couple in the experiment. So to see them struggling and to see them sort of not being able to sort of fully express what has gone wrong in their relationship is something that I think the experts and the other participants are being taken aback by, because they sit down with the experts. The experts are asking Dave, you suddenly seem distant, you suddenly seem detached. What exactly is going on? Because we can't understand why you suddenly changed and why your opinion towards your wife is totally different to when you initially started, because we've sat with you for 5 weeks. We thought you were doing amazingly well, and suddenly you're in this position whereby you're looking at us and saying, I don't know, I can't, feel anything for this lady. Jamie is right to stand her ground, to say, I have done everything to make you feel valued, to make you feel appreciated, make you feel cherished, but you are not showing up for me the same way. And she's right to sort of hold his feet to the fire, because she has done everything. It's different to the TJ and sort of Beth situation, whereby she just wants validation, whereas Jamie is saying, I've given you validation for everything, and I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for you to do the same for me. So you're not showing up for me, so I refuse to continue to show up for you. For Dave to say, he's scared, he's sort of shut down because she's expressed feelings that he doesn't have, and so he doesn't know what to do. He really is trying his best. And it's like, yeah, there's one thing to try your best with your mouth. There's another thing to try your best with your actions. Which is it? Are you going to put in the effort to see if you can grow this connection, or are you done with this lady and you want to move on? I'm confused. I really don't get it. I really am confused, and I don't understand why we're in this position whereby, this man, after weeks and weeks and weeks, has suddenly said, I'm not growing emotionally. You should have told her in advance. When she told you she loved you, you should have told her, I like you as a person, but my feelings for you at this moment, I'm struggling to process. I'm struggling to understand where I am and where we're likely to go. I know you're an amazing person. I know I'll never find anyone who'll treat me the way you've treated me. So I'm doing my best to make sure that I don't lose you, which is what he said, that, Jamie's an amazing person. He doesn't want to lose her and whatever. And it's like, are you doing this because you don't want to lose her, or are you doing this because you really like her, is my question. Does he like her and see a future with her, or is he doing it just because he doesn't want to sort of regret months later that, oh my God, I shouldn't have let this lady go? I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm struggling to understand where they stand as a couple, because he's been told by the experts that if you're going to sort of say you want this marriage to work, then you have to show her that you want it to work. I understand people saying he's grieving, his dad was terminal and had been given, a short timeline, and so this is why he was struggling. This is why I say he shouldn't have entered the experiment this season. Yes, he might never have met Jamie, but at the end of the day, he's in a situation whereby grief is hard to process, let alone to process it in front of cameras. It's going to be difficult for anyone. So it's a matter of him choosing. What does he want to do? Jamie has been very understanding. I think if he had told her, Jamie, my dad is unwell and we're really struggling because, he's been given a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and I want to take time out and go and spend the last few months, last few weeks he has with him, Jamie would have walked out with him. If he had told her, Jamie, can we take a pause? Because I'm really struggling emotionally. I'm trying to process what's happening with my dad. I think she would have been more understanding. But because he hasn't given a justifiable reason, this is why she's stuck on, I don't want to, continue to pour into you if you're not pouring into me. So I can't wait to see what happens with them. He says he's going to make the effort, and next week is homestays week. It seems her sister is going to be holding his feet to the fire. So I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 28. Bye guys.